Hey y'all, welcome back to Toya DTV. Go ahead and thumbs up the video as you come in. Y'all, we are here for another Real Housewives of Potomac review. This episode was weighted to me. There is something going on with everybody and it's not much good. But anyway, season 5, episode 12, Fully Charged. So y'all, the episode starts off by us seeing Dr. Wendy and her husband Eddie. They are planning to celebrate their 3-month-old daughter Cameron, and they want to celebrate in the traditional ways of Nigeria. So what they're going to do is plan a head tie ceremony, and then they also want both sides of the family to be there, of course, because they're celebrating baby Cameron's womanhood. So Eddie has not really talked to his family. He has talked to his siblings, not much, scarcely here and there. He wants to not have drama at the event for the baby, so that's sort of on the back. He lets us know that when they got married, his siblings were left with a choice, and usually with Nigerian culture, the children side with the parent. The children nor the parents were at their wedding. So Eddie is still hurt by that, and he's having mixed feelings whether to invite them or not. Next, we see Michael and Ashley. They're going to a therapy session. When they get there, the therapist asks, is there anything specific you want to talk about? And Ashley kind of puts out there that they don't have the traditional marriage and they set rules for their non-traditional marriage. Michael sort of had an indiscretion with following the rules, and things happened. This scene really bothered me because Michael says that the baby caused the restriction. We all remember seasons back, Michael did not want a child. Ashley said she's changed, which I'm sure with motherhood, your eyes are so open to a different world. The therapist asks Michael, does he know why it happened? And Michael's like, yeah, there's a lot of reasons. He mentions his dad was a good guy or whatever, but he had a drinking problem. So he would come home and be the dad that he knew, and he would start drinking. And by nightfall, he had turned to a completely different person. So he used to talk down to him and verbally abuse him, probably physically abused him too. Who knows? He said that played a part. He feels as though when the baby came about, Ashley's focus shifted to the baby, which I'm sure it would, because I'm pretty sure Michael doesn't have hands on deck all the time. And then Michael also says that he has felt completely isolated. This is what he says caused it to happen. Michael says that these things cause him to go into a shell and do things that he usually doesn't do, things that just make him feel good about himself. And I'm like, so cheating on your wife makes you feel good about yourself? I don't know what happened to Michael as a child, but I hope it wasn't anything sexual, because to me, it just seems like Michael's just out of control sexually. And I honestly think Ashley started a bad habit. Now, he's like, what? You want to stop? You want to cut it off, huh? But we was doing this together. Now she doesn't want to do it together. I believe she has started a downward spiral. So the therapist points out that Michael going through all of this, Ashley can be the one to support him and help him and not have him feel as though he has to go out in the streets to get attention to make him feel good about himself. He looked at her and was like, I need help with that. And she's like, how am I supposed to know when these moments are happening? It's not like you talk to me. So Ashley got a point there. I mean, she's not a mind reader. She can be there to help support him, but is Michael really going to be open like that to say, hey, right now I'm in the mood to go to the bar and take somebody back to a room? I highly doubt it. I don't know. So we see Wendy. She's inviting people to the sip and see for baby Cameron, and she just put it out there. Monique is not invited. Wear your pink. Everybody needs to be in pink. Then we see Ray. It seems like Ray is super excited about Halloween. I find that a little cute. Like Ray is like all putting up monsters or whatever they were. And they were talking and all of that. Karen's annoyed by it. Can you unplug them? Can you this? Can you that? It just don't seem like they're seeing eye to eye on anything. And it's unfortunate. They've been together this long. I honestly feel like at this point, this storyline is real because I can see it all. So she comes downstairs and they are going for a walk. So he asked, how was the trip? He said, it's everything. I enjoyed it. I loved it. And it just made me realize that I, furthermore, want to keep my marriage and I want to fight for us. She really just wants Ray to meet her halfway. I think Ray wants her to meet him halfway as well. Ray has put out there some things he wants her to do that she's not doing. So there has to be a compromise. A marriage is compromise. There is no your way or this way. It has to be a meet in the middle. And they have to get on the same mindset as far as what they are going to do to save their marriage. Karen just told Ray, I need you to meet me halfway. And she asked him, with me no longer just being a housewife and me being a public figure now and me having my business, is there some sort of intimidation there? Ray said there needs to be a balance with everything. You can have your perfume, you can have, your fame, you can have your husband, you can have your children, but there needs to be a balancing system. This is the thing a lot of people cannot seem to handle. People will have friends and they will have a man or a husband and they cut their friends almost off, back, whatever you want to call it. There needs to be a balancing act, and that is how a lot of relationships, friendships, whatever type of relationship it is, that's how relationships fall apart because there's not a balanced system. I mean, I say it all the time. I'm so glad that I know how to balance is what because you would think this was a foreign language for a lot of people. I don't think it's that hard. But anyway, I'm gonna let that go. Ray says, I think you've somehow let this fame and fortune go to your head a little bit. Well, Karen rebuttals that and says, no, I appreciate it, but I've never forgotten where I came from. And I totally get that. But if she want to strut what she got, what she worked hard to earn, it is what it is. What Karen needs to do is make sure she got time for her husband. That's the bottom line. That's all Ray is trying to say. That man just want her in the kitchen cooking him a meal. I bet if she did that once, maybe twice a week, he would be fine. So, of course, they look up and the deer are fighting and Karen had to throw shade at Ray. Well, at least somebody fighting for somebody. So we see Candiace. She's on the phone with her mom and she's on her way to the courthouse. She's actually going to speak with the prosecutor and tell her testimony about the fight. It's a little sad that, her mom or Chris couldn't go with her, but it is what it is. Put on your big girl drawers and handle your business. So Candiace at this point feels like she has no other choice but to press charges because she feels like there need to be consequences for putting your hands on somebody. And of course, at that point, I don't know, it seems like every time she starts talking about it, maybe she relives it. So she starts crying. We see Robyn and she is working on her business. She has a hat business. I actually like the hats that I saw. The company is called Embellish. I am digging the hats. Like, good job, Robyn. I'm all for it. I love it. Her sons are helping her pack and ship out orders and everything. I love this. You have to get your children involved so that they know in the future how to build their own business. So Robyn has made over $10,000 in a little over a month with her new business, Embellish. Yeah. Robyn has said, hey, look, I have a lot of stuff going on right now. Buying a house and getting married is like in the back of my head. It's on a shelf somewhere. And right now I'm focusing on Embellish and tax situation satisfied. We see Candiace, after she's been to the courthouse or whatever, and she's meeting up with her friend Clifton. Apparently they met when she went to Howard University. He's like, how are you? And of course she tells him that she just left the courthouse. She had to press charges against Monique and it's traumatic for her. She says that she wakes up every morning in a panic. I can see how that would be the case. If you got beat up and you were not expecting to be in a fight, I can see how you're paranoid. I can see how you think something's going to happen to you in your sleep. I can see how you may think that somebody's gonna just come out the bushes and attack you. It's paranoid. Like you're just paranoid at that point. She has a bunch of stickies up all over the place, and they say you're okay, it's gonna be okay. And that's really sad to me that she has to put sticky notes up in her house to reassure herself that she's okay. It makes me wonder if she needs to be on some kind of medication at this point, because that's a little extreme. I know it's just there for reassurance, but if it's that deep, she might need some anxiety medication or something. And you know, she starts crying at the dinner table, just kind of telling him how she feels and how she lived her life now. And he was a good friend. He said, you are bigger and you're smarter than this, and you was before this. Candiace takes out the napkin, and you know, she's crying. Not to make light of the situation, when Candiace took that napkin out of her purse, it was already folded in a perfect triangle. Was it folded from the courthouse? Okay, besides the point, let it go. If somebody catch Candiace on camera folding napkins before she meet up with people, I am gonna be done. You hear me? I know she's pretty, but my goodness. Her friend asked, so how's your relationship with everybody since all of this has happened? And Candiace just stated that, you know, Wendy, Gizelle, and Robyn, they've all been very supportive. But it seems like Karen is erring on the side of caution. She mentioned the people that were totally siding with her and totally against Monique. Candiace said that her mental state is not being considered, but I really do think it's being considered by certain people. This whole situation is just sad. Candiace is going to be traumatized for a long time. I don't think anybody has ever fought Candiace before. She said that she grew up in a mostly white school. I'm pretty sure she has always been sort of in this box, a protective box that her mom set up for her. I don't think she's ever truly lived in the real world. Not saying that in the real world you get attacked and all this and all that, but I'm saying in the real world you learn the do's and the don'ts, the unwritten rules, you know? So, I mean, it is what it is. We see Wendy and Eddie, they're checking out the museum venue that they want to have the sip and see at. They want the baby to have style and heritage, so they think it's a go. Eddie mentions that while he was giving his son a bath or whatever, he said, Dad, I like your beard. Does your dad have a beard like that? And why haven't I met him? Y'all, I can only imagine that crushed Eddie's heart. I'm sure it crushed his heart, because you don't expect things like that to come out of children's mouths. But he said he don't know. So by that happening, he reconsidered sending an invitation to his family for the sip and see. He felt like it wasn't about him. It was about his son at that point. He needs to get to know his family. He's reconsidering sending the invitation to everybody. All right, y'all. So Dean and Ashley goes to see her Uncle Lump. We all know that her Uncle Lump is like her dad, because her dad was not in her life. So they're there and they're having dinner, and they are talking about Michael. So Ashley said that Michael has changed a lot and he's starting to come home every night. When she said he was starting to come home every night, I'm like, so you mean this man was staying out and everything? Whew. Ashley is carrying a lot. So they're talking about it, and Ashley's mom pops up with the eye patch on, and she's like, Mom, what are you doing here? You didn't tell me you were coming, and earlier your eye was irritated and oozing and it looked really bad. And I'm sitting here thinking, why is she here if her eye was doing all of that? I would have left. Don't bring none of that infection, germs, pink eye, goop, whatever you want to call it. Don't bring it around me. You know, her mom sits down, and of course she wants Dean or whatever, and they're eating dinner. And Ashley starts to tell them about the therapy session and how Michael kind of put it out there that he's felt isolated, and that's something she's never heard before. So Uncle Lump is like, your focus is on Dean right now and not Michael. And pretty much he's like, Michael doesn't have any excuses. It doesn't matter. It's all about controlling yourself. And he is hitting the nail right on the head. It doesn't matter what's going on in your home. You need to be able to control yourself. And the fact that you're not even talking to your spouse about what you think is wrong, you're just going out here finding little hoes or whatever you want to call them to make you feel good for the moment. Like, even though you got a young baby, that is, ooh. But again, we knew Michael did not want this baby. It's kind of sad because now about to have to. Uncle Lump wants a piece of Michael. He wants Michael to come around so he can drill him, question him, sock it to him. Uncle Lump feels like Michael need to come on around so he can take some crap from him. Don't hide out. Come around so I can tell you exactly what I think about you, and you're supposed to be a man. Michael ain't gonna come around them though. I don't even think Michael likes her side of the family, period. So we see Wendy and her family. They're all getting dressed for the sip and see. Eddie still hasn't heard anything back from his family. While we see them doing that, we also see that Robyn is the first to arrive at this event, which is a shocker. She walks in and there is nobody there. You don't see the catering staff. You don't see anybody. You just see her. So Robyn is hot. She's mad, like, how am I the first one at your event? So the invitation says 6 o'clock and it's like 7 something and Robyn's there. On the way to the venue, Wendy sees that Monique has been charged second degree assault. And she's talking to her husband like, can she get jail time? He's like, of course she could. That's serious. Wendy arrives and Robyn is like, oh, you're finally here. How did I beat the hostess at her own event? Wendy's like, well, it's okay. The party doesn't start until 8. Let me tell you, if somebody send me an invitation that says a party starts at 6, I get there at 7 something, and you said the party doesn't start till 8, I'm gone. You can forget about that. Then she said, I'm Nigerian. Why would you come early? Look, that's what y'all do in Nigeria. Over here in the US of A, that is a stereotype, and I don't like it. So everybody else starts to arrive, and of course they're going to sit all the, the crew, all the cast members together at the same table. And of course Gizelle couldn't wait to bring up the charges. So she was like, my phone's been dinging all day. And Robyn's like, it's about the charges. She was like, yeah. So they said she was charged second degree assault. And she was like, I really wanted to know the difference. So with second degree assault, you can get between 5 or 15 years. Robyn and Gizelle are talking about that, and Karen gets irritated with them because she probably feels like, why are they bringing this up right now? Well, they're bringing it up because they are who they are, and this is what they do. They stir the pot on the show. Karen gets up to give herself some water, give herself a little break from the foolishness a little bit, and then she'll come back to the table. Robyn says, well, we don't want her to go to jail, but this is a learning experience for everybody. And they're both like, keep your hands to yourself. Wendy is greeting everybody and explaining that they're going to have Nigerian and Caribbean food there. Candiace and her mom and Chris arrives, and of course they're all seated at the same table. And then they started the hair tie ceremony on the baby. I thought that was cute. And then they call it spraying the baby with money. They make it rain on the baby. So that's a little cute. But I think it's kind of sad that she's not going to remember any of it. I'm wondering, is there another ceremony farther down the line that she will actually remember? She's only 3 months. After all the traditions and everything, they go and they sit down to eat. The food really did look good, so I would have been up for trying all of it. So, Candiace's mom is in town to support her, and that's what she should do as Candiace's mom. So Gizelle brings up, how are you doing, Candiace? And Candiace is like, stressed. She explains that she went down to the courthouse and she pressed the charges, and it was everywhere within 5 minutes, and she was not expecting that. They wanted to know what the goal was. Like, you don't want her to go to jail. She's like, oh, we don't? Candiace is like, she wants the law to do whatever it is the law feels is necessary to do. If that's going to jail, then so be it. If that's not going to jail and do community service, whatever it may be, Candiace is like, that's what I want. Her prerogative, I guess. Gizelle said, well, that means, she could be doing like 5 to 15 years. Candiace is like, yeah. So, Candiace is all for pressing charges against Monique. Her mom, chimes in that there should be consequences for, her actions. At that point, she said, were you all there? And I respect her mom for this, because her mom really wanted clarity on what happened because she was not there. So she asked the other ladies, it sounded like assault to me. Was it assault? Robyn and Gizelle said, yes, it was assault. Ashley, on the other hand, feels like it was a situation where they both kind of egged each other on. Ashley heard yelling while she was in the bathroom, and she didn't know what was going on, but she heard them yelling and she knew it was them. So Ashley was given a perspective from her point of view on what happened. Robyn and Gizelle also chimed in saying, but you weren't there, because she was arguing the fact that Candiace was in Monique's face. Candiace was in Monique's face. Monique also told her a couple of times, I think at least twice, to get her hand out of her face. So I'm pretty sure Ashley may have heard that. That's maybe why she said that, but you know, they say she wasn't there, so she can't say whatever. This is where everything goes completely to hell with the communication. So because Ashley decided to state what Ashley said, it is now a boxing match with words with Candiace again. So Candiace said, is she paying you as well? And Ashley's like, well, really, you've been very aggressive toward me before as well. And that's when Candiace is like, is she paying you as well to be her mouthpiece? And Chris immediately started telling Candiace to stop. And Candiace is not stopping. Candiace is like, yeah, she's being paid. And Ashley's like, what do I need to be paid for? I'm married to a millionaire. So Candiace comes for Ashley's marriage. Oh, well, congratulations, not for long. This is what I'm talking about when I say Candiace be going too far. Candiace has now attacked this girl's marriage. Candiace hits below the belt. I don't care what nobody says. She hits below the belt, and it is what it is. With Ashley going through all that she's been going through with Michael, with the infidelity, you know, the infidelity, the he may be gay and all this stuff, charges, and I mean, it's just below the belt. Like certain stuff, you just gotta let it ride. But you know, Candiace responds. She's like, not for long. And Ashley's like, I will remain married. I will remain married as long as I choose to. And Candiace is like, yeah, I don't know nothing about that. So what are you putting your mouth in it for? Like, seriously. She just wanted something to say, because that's what Candiace does. It's a punch for a punch, a line for a line. You say something, I'm going to say something. And it is no shutting her up. So at that point, after she attacked her marriage, Chris got pissed. He was like, shut up. Just stop talking. Just stop talking. And then Candiace calms down. I guess at some point it was still brewing. So she was like, what didn't I take responsibility for? And he was like, shut up. It's just terrible. It's just terrible. It's like Candiace is on like 1200 towards anybody that does not agree with her. And it's sad. It's sad. I mean, everybody's not going to agree. Just like with this whole fight situation, which I will be so glad when the fight, the charges, all this crap will be done. It's giving me vibes of Snakegate from Real Housewives of Atlanta. All season long, it was a talk about Snakegate, Snakegate, Snakegate. I'm over this fight, y'all. So I really don't want to keep hearing about it in the episodes to come, but I'm sure we are. Candiace finally shuts up. You know, everything is over with, and Wendy and Eddie kind of sits down and just takes a breather for a second, since they were the life of the party. They just kind of say, you know, I'm sorry that your family didn't show up. And Eddie is hurting. Eddie's heart is hurt because his family, he said he sent the invitation to his mom to send to everybody else. That's where I think he went wrong. He needs to send the invitation to everybody, not just to his mom, because he know his mom is not on his side. If you left it in her hands, she's not going to pass it along because she doesn't want them to come. I feel like he would have had a better response had he sent the invitation to everybody. But that could also be, it could also be something dealing with their culture. You go to the woman in the family and not everybody else. So I don't know. At the end of the day, you know, he mentioned that his family didn't show up. So then we switch back over to the chaos of Ashley and Candiace and everybody else. Candiace has calmed down, so she's not upset with Ashley choosing to be on the side of her friend. She's just warning her to be cautious on how she proceed with Monique, because she doesn't, you know, fully know her. Ashley says that she told Monique that it was wrong for her putting her hands on her. I don't know what we are still talking about at this point. Everybody except Candiace sat in that room and heard Monique say that she was wrong for putting her hands on Candiace. What more do people want? I know people want Monique to go to Candiace and say it. But let me just say this. Had she done that, everybody else would have still had something to say, because there is no pleasing everybody in this situation. Half of y'all probably hot off my opinion right now. I don't care. It is what it is. So then after Ashley states her opinion, Karen says, you know what, I could shed light on this situation because I am in the middle. It's a really tough place to be. And she said, you know, Candiace, you said you were going to talk to her. Karen did talk to Monique, and she told Monique that she needs to apologize to Candiace and also tell her that she didn't deserve that. Candiace feels like, why do you need to tell her that? She's grown and she should know what she did. I 1000% agree, which is why everybody just need to stay out of the mix. They're making it worse. Let the situation be what the situation is without this person saying this and this person saying that and all of this and all of that. Everybody want to know what's going on, and they're just making it worse. She shouldn't have to go tell Monique to do anything, and she really should not have done that. She should have just talked to Monique as a friend, let Monique say what she want to say, and leave it at that. Just like she lended Candiace information that if she was in her shoes and she felt the way she felt, she would press charges. Well, she also told Monique she was wrong and that she messed up. So it is what it is. Whatever Candiace make the decision to do, that's what she do. So Robyn says to Karen, has your opinion changed about anybody since all of this? Karen says yes, but she asked that everybody respect her wishes until all the details come out on everything that's happening. I kind of get that, and I guess Karen is trying to not stir the pot. And at the end of the day, whatever her feelings are towards somebody else really shouldn't matter. Because I think everybody's waiting for Karen to jump on Candiace's bandwagon. And that's not how Karen gets down. Karen supported Candiace. Karen supported Monique. People don't like that. People want you to choose. And it's not, who are you to try to make somebody choose? Right is right, wrong is wrong. Monique should have never touched her, but she did. Candiace is distraught, so she pressed charges. The episode goes off by Eddie really just talking about how his feelings are kind of hurt, tremendously hurt actually, because I think he was crying, but of course men gotta hide when they cry, so he wiped one time, and I think that was a tear. His family really didn't show up, and they didn't say anything else to him once he sent the invitation. I think they responded back and said thank you for inviting everyone to the event, and that was the last thing they heard. So I gotta say, I like the connection between Wendy and Eddie, because you can't tell me nothing. Wendy and Eddie has a extremely strong support system with each other. His family abandoned him because he chose to marry her. Like, what? He chose her anyway. He chose her anyway, and I'm sure she is so grateful, so thankful, so loved. But it's still scary at the same time, because now Wendy is in a situation where she's going to have to break her mom's heart because she no longer wants to be a teacher. So by her changing career, she may get banished from the family too. It's just a lot going on. It's just a lot of sadness going on in these families, a lot of chaos, a lot of everything. But anyway, y'all, that was the end of the review. Let me know how y'all feel in the comments about anything I said. Don't forget to thumbs up the video. I will see y'all Friday.